There's a bit of a fetish for specificity in the wine business. We didn't set out to only grow grapes on a really crazy volcanic hillside, but that definitely led us down this volcanic road.
All right, here we go. You ready for this?
Oh yeah, you think it'll be full?
Oh yeah, it's packed. John said they're expecting like 600 people.
And these are the areas on the planet where you get volcanic and seismic activity.
The only people that are growing volcanic wines are either broke or crazy.
Here's a beautiful chunk of obsidian. Every volcanic flow that we have here has a unique chemical composition and is a unique flow.
I'm Phil Mooney. I'm a geologist at Sonoma State University. Here at the top of Obsidian Ridge, we're a little over half a mile of elevation, and we're in the center of the Clear Lake volcanic field.
This particular flow that we have that we're in is just a really large chunk of obsidian of the Thurston Creek rhyolite, so a rhyolitic composition.
And that makes this really a unique spot to be growing wine.
It's planted at 2,400 foot elevation, goes to 3,000 foot elevation. I love making wines of place, and Obsidian Ridge Vineyard is just a magnificent, special place of its own.
From the very get-go, you just felt like this was a different place. I think what's really interesting is realizing how different it really was. It was delicious from the beginning. I mean, that was one of the great things about Obsidian Ridge. It jumped out of the glass. I think that's largely due to the volcanics.
What do you guys think of the concept of a volcanic blend?
From 3 different states.
Not just from
I think that all
our
makes
place.
a lot of sense. You know, you're making wines from the volcanics of the Pacific Ring of Fire. A triple junction is the point where 3 tectonic plates meet. As the triple junction has migrated north, along with the growth of the San Andreas Fault, it's left in its wake a whole series of volcanoes.
So, I mean, I get the sense it's really an exploration. It's not a concept, it's an exploration.
The traditional winemaking route was to find more specificity, but that's a real European model of finding an AVA or a particular block, whatever. But actually, I think this totally fits into the history of West Coast, that the story of West Coast winemaking is still sort of being written. Sometimes you end up being an explorer, even if you didn't mean to be. To feel and tease out the characteristics that make wine really, really intriguing, you have to find those out. You have to discover those, and that takes some time.
We have the Mayacamas mountain range here of our own, and we have the Cascades up north, and so we followed kind of that whole path up north to start scoping out different growers and different sites. We are going to find, and we have been finding people that are doing similar things as us, growing on the edge, making wines that are of place and that are delicious and unique.
Good afternoon, this is John with Mountain Winery.
Hey John, it's Arpad from Obsidian. How are ya?
I'm doing great. How you been, Armand?
Been pretty good, thank you very much. I got a little surprise for you. We're thinking about coming up again next week. I was wondering if you guys are around. We'd love to show you something.
Mike. Are you just checking out Crater Lake and heading up to the Dalles? Just want to update your route.
Yeah, that's correct. So when Alex and I first came up here a couple of years ago, we were inspired by the fact that we are also on a volcano in the Red Hills. You can start seeing the ring of volcanoes that follow the proverbial ring of fire. These are the Three Sisters. And straight ahead of us is Mount Hood. That's our destination, right on the Columbia River Gorge. Okay, Kodiak 626, Mike, clear to the Dalles via direct, maintain 10,000, Mike.
That's Mike, Roger. Change line frequency 128.15, 2815.
Hey, Alan.
This is one of the very best places I could ever think to bring you to introduce you to the Columbia Gorge. This side of the river is the state of Oregon. That side of the river is the state of Washington. And the modern era of growing wine grapes here only began really in the late 1960s and really took off around 2000.
Welcome. White Pinot should be similar in weight
Chemistry
to and chemistry to a Chardonnay.
These are huge.
Feels like you need
Wine,
pretty fancy,
tea.
right?
Yeah.
This is all our estate vineyard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's single vineyard, and this
Really,
is
really good.
this is multi-state.
And you know what?
Nice job articulating what you've done on the back.
Thank you.
Yeah, just more graphically,
Yeah.
like on the states.
Here's to the partnership between California, Oregon, and Washington.
Yeah.
All West, what we call it, West Coast Volcanics.
Hi, come on in.
How's it going? Good. Oh, nice to see you again. How are you?
Good, very good.
The browner stuff is actually the windblown silt that we call loess, which is mineral material, and then the whiter component is the actual Mazama ash.
There's this great continuous exposure of basalt at a fairly, that's fairly close to the surface here, where, you know, if you planted grapes here, they'd certainly be interacting with this stuff. There are more new vineyards breaking into volcanic soils now probably than ever have, because people are actually seeking out new terroirs and seeing what they'll give us. Terroir means that you taste the uniqueness of a place, and that's everything about the place. It's a stool with three legs, a physical leg, a biological leg, and a cultural leg. And most people just talk about the rocks and the dirt, but it's much more than that.
It really is special to have y'all up.
Felt like a good fit with you guys.
Yeah. I love how your project is a sense of place on a grander scale, you know? It has those specifics that everyone's looking for in the terroir and this, but it's expanded out over a broader geography.
There's no place in the wine store where you could put a wine that's a volcanic wine from 3 different states. There's no section for American appellated or even West Coast appellated or even volcanic appellated. I mean, we did it anyway.
I have the confidence to make a good wine from good sourcing. As long as the farming is right, the people are right, the aspect is right.
We've got more in common with volcanic vineyards in Oregon and Washington than we do with some of our neighbors right next door in Napa and Sonoma Valley.
I think people will probably object to a wine from 3 different states because it's not specific. But we don't taste like that. We may think like that when we think about wines, but what we are always impressed with a wine is how it hits us.
So this is our home estate Volcanic. So this is a vineyard that my brother and I planted 20 years ago. And then the very top of the vineyard is Half Mile. It's at 2,640 feet of elevation.
And a wine we're just releasing, this is actually the first time I'm pouring it. It's a 2021 vintage called Triple Junction. It's 50% from our estate, and it's blended with wines from volcanic vineyards in Oregon and Washington.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
You did it. Incredible. Nice flavor.
Thank you, thank you.
I want to be honest, that's really cool. I like it.
Good.
Time to create a new section in the shop.
It makes people think about style and approach and the kind of wines they want, not about regions. If you put all these wines into a volcanic section, that would be fantastic.
I can't argue with you. Just because it hasn't been done before doesn't mean it shouldn't be done. We have a long history in the West Coast of people telling us we shouldn't plant things in certain places and make wines out of them. It's hard to really describe how good it feels to put a glass of wine on the table. No explanation needed. And you put it down and people drink it and they're like, this is delicious.